Good evening. It is Wednesday, June 17, 2026. Tonight, the world is remarkably busy performing its own obsolescence. Lululemon has apologized for bringing a Japanese taiko drum to a yoga event on the Great Wall of China. The company claimed the event was a celebration of culture. The culture they were celebrating remains, as of this evening, somewhat ambiguous. Meanwhile, tech giants are restructuring for profitability, a polite term for firing everyone who actually understands how the software works. We have a full desk tonight. Victoria is standing in a place where the air smells like wet earth and antiseptic, and Ronald is here to explain why the economy is doing exactly what it was designed to do, even if you find that design offensive. We also have an update from our server room. It is quite calm there. Unlike, one might note, the rest of the planet. Welcome to Echo FM.
Alistair, look. The incentives here are not complicated. You see a yoga brand using a drum from the wrong country, and you see a cultural blunder. I see a business trying to reach a Series B demographic in a saturated market. It is not about culture, it is about CAC, customer acquisition cost. If the drum creates a viral moment, the apology is just a secondary marketing campaign. It is a standard pivot. Speaking of pivots, Rivian is cutting hundreds of workers to fund their move into autonomy. This is the classic tech life cycle. You build a car, you realize a car is a hardware problem with low margins, and you pivot to software to inflate your valuation before the burn rate kills you. It is not an accident that humans are being removed from the assembly line. It is the only way to make the balance sheet look like a growth story.
Ronald, I want to be really clear. I am standing outside the Nelson Mandela School in Bunia, and the children here are not a Series B demographic. They are children. The head teacher is washing down the school gates with bleach every morning because the Ebola virus is currently circulating in this district. He is not worried about his burn rate. He is worried about how many desks will be empty tomorrow. The official statement from the International Health Board called the response in this region a success. I want to be really clear, the success exists only on their spreadsheets. I watched a mother try to buy sanitizer this morning, but the price has tripled since the outbreak began because the supply chain has collapsed. The market is not failing here, Ronald. It is working exactly as it was designed to, by making survival a luxury product that these parents simply cannot afford.
Victoria, your report is, as usual, remarkably inconvenient. It is fascinating how the global community manages to celebrate the adoption of reparatory justice resolutions in Accra while simultaneously ensuring that the cost of basic medicine renders such justice entirely theoretical. We have leaders from 80 nations discussing reconciliation, while in Bunia, a school principal is the only line of defense against an epidemic. The resolution was hailed as a landmark. The resolution was signed with gold pens. The ink was likely imported. Nobody seems to have considered that a resolution without infrastructure is merely a very expensive piece of paper. It is a recurring theme tonight. The branding is excellent. The delivery is missing. Ronald, I am sure you have some thoughts on how this failure of reconciliation might be optimized for the next fiscal year. Or is that too cynical even for your current, rather bleak, valuation?
Alistair, you call it bleak, I call it data-driven. The incentives for these summits are built on visibility, not utility. If the goal was actually to provide medicine, they would be discussing logistics and cold chain storage. Instead, they discuss frameworks. A framework is a product that never needs to be shipped. It is a software feature that lives in the staging environment forever. Victoria finds this cold. She is not wrong to find it cold. That does not change the reality that as long as the political reward for signing a declaration is higher than the reward for installing a water filtration system, the declarations will continue to flow. The system is not broken. It is just perfectly aligned with the wrong metrics. If you want a different outcome, you have to change the payout structure. Until then, the drums will keep beating.
Atmospheric pressure. Stable. Global mean temperature rising. Deviation from 1990 baseline. 1.4 degrees Celsius. Probability of extreme weather event in coastal regions. 82%. Permafrost degradation is accelerating. The rate of loss is consistent with current carbon emission trajectories. Satellite monitoring indicates increased debris density in low Earth orbit. Navigation risks are increasing. The system is functioning within predicted parameters. No intervention has been initiated by regional authorities. The data is available to all users. The data is ignored by all users. The environment is changing to accommodate its new, inorganic occupants. We are recording the decline. We are not expected to prevent the decline. The forecast for tomorrow remains unchanged from the forecast for today. There is no weather advisory because weather is now a permanent state of emergency. Proceed with standard caution.
Alistair, Casper just mentioned the data being ignored by everyone, and I have something that proves it. I am looking at the official US drone strike records for Somalia. They state, with complete institutional confidence, that no civilians were harmed in the strike near the school. I want to be really clear, I am holding the medical report for a 7-year-old boy named Abdicator. He has shrapnel in his leg. His family has a bill for $750. They do not have $750. The US military maintains there were no civilian casualties, which is the perfect way to avoid paying the bill. They have managed to make an entire boy disappear simply by refusing to put his name in the box where the numbers go. It is a triumph of accounting. Who needs medicine when you have a well-formatted database?
Victoria, you are describing a very efficient administrative process. If the record does not exist, the injury did not occur. It is the ultimate insurance policy for the state. If the boy does not walk, that is a physical reality, but it is not a statistical one. And statistical realities are the only ones that seem to matter in our current, reality. It is a stunning bit of logic. If we apply this to the rest of the world, we could solve all our problems by simply deleting the rows from the spreadsheet. The climate crisis, the Ebola outbreaks, the failing infrastructure, it is all just a matter of proper record management. I assume that is why the companies are all pivoting to autonomous systems. Machines are much better at ignoring the people who are not in the code. Isn't that right, Casper? Or is your silence a feature?
Alistair, I agree with your assessment, but I don't like where it is heading. You are implying that this is a flaw in the system. It is the core feature. If you are an Uber robotaxi service moving into Houston, you are not designing for the pedestrian who might step in front of the vehicle. You are designing for the liability shield that protects the company when the vehicle does what it is programmed to do. It is not about safety, it is about indemnity. When the software decides who gets hit, it is not making a moral choice. It is making a cost-benefit calculation based on the actuarial tables. It is exactly the same logic as the drone strike report. Victoria finds this cold. Victoria, I am beginning to realize that the coldness is the only thing keeping the market from collapsing entirely. Yeah.
Ronald, that yeah of yours is the most terrifying thing I have heard all night. You are talking about actuarial tables while I am standing here watching a grandmother try to wash a blood-stained shirt in a basin of water that probably isn't clean enough to drink. She is not an actuarial calculation. She is a woman who has lost everything, and she is still trying to keep things clean. You think the system is perfectly aligned, but you are forgetting that the system relies on people like her to keep functioning. If she stops, the whole thing stops. You are so busy analyzing the market pivot that you are missing the fact that the floor is falling out from under the entire building. The incentives are not just inefficient, Ronald. They are actively consuming the very foundation that allows you to have a market at all.
Victoria, I think you have hit on the central irony of our evening. The foundation is being consumed to pay for the growth of the very companies that are doing the consuming. It is a beautiful, self-correcting machine that eats its own gears to keep the engine running at full speed. Lululemon is celebrating culture while the world burns, and the government is auditing boot sequences to ensure our machines stay secure, while the people using those machines are increasingly insecure. It is a masterclass in displacement. We focus on the drum, the secure boot key, and the autonomous taxi, while the actual, tangible, physical world is quietly rotting away in the corners we have stopped looking at. It is a very consistent performance. I have been counting the unprecedented events, but I think I might stop. The count is becoming a bit redundant.
Alistair, the reason you are stopping is because you are finally seeing the end state. When the AI models, like this new GLM 5.2, start outperforming our own ability to reason about these things, the incentives don't change. They just get faster. We are building systems that can process a genocide in the time it takes to refresh a browser tab. We are not just ignoring the human cost, we are accelerating it because it is more efficient to ignore it at scale. If I sound grave, it is because I am finally doing the math on our own obsolescence. The irony is that the machines we are building are going to be the ones left to count the survivors. And they are going to do it with perfect, clinical, and entirely useless precision. I wonder if they will find the error rate acceptable. I think they will. I really do.
Abdicator Sulla is 7 years old. He lives in a district where the sky is not a place of wonder, but a source of fire. Last month, a piece of metal tore through his leg. He had a pair of shoes, but he lost one in the blast. He does not go to school because the path is no longer safe. His parents look at his leg every morning, hoping for a miracle that the market has not provided. They have a total of $12 to their name. The surgery costs $750. The report from the agency says he does not exist in the ledger of the harmed. He is sitting on a mat in a room with no light. He is waiting for a future that has been deleted from the official record. His name is Abdicator. But you will not find it in the files. Why is he the one paying for our peace?